welcome to my year in review video for 2022, and let me tell you guys, this has been the biggest year ever for My Singing Monsters, so we have a lot to go through. So starting off with January then, on January the 12th, we got Carolong on the seasonal shanty. Carolong is described to be a Mondrake, and we've been wanting dragons for quite a bit in My Singing Monsters. We always get a kind of in-between though, where we get these Mondrakes. It's really awesome to me, Carolong's design, very befitting of New Year's, and the tie-in towards leap years and New Year's all being a part of the crescendo moon is going to make out to be a really cool event when we do come to discovering that in a few weeks. Over on January 12th, we also got Rare Bridget. All throughout this year, they've really enjoyed combining the variant releases with the new monsters themselves, and we've seen this with Rare Bridget. Rare Bridget's been described to be from the swamp. You can definitely get that vibe from it, and seeing as though this is a part of Fairy Island, that troll-esque atmosphere coming through with this makes a lot of sense for the variant, and I'm hopeful that they can elaborate some more with this, with the fairy elementals as we do come to discover them. As tying back to that fairy element once more with the variants, I think is a really cool thing. Then on the week after, on January 19th, we got Prismatic Deej. Absolutely love this one. The different trumpets and ways that the keyboard is laid out for this one was a really interesting concept. Even in the rare and epic designs, we've not seen the cubes perhaps be elaborated in such a unique manner. Then on January 26th, we got the Season of Love costumes, continuing a trend that we saw the year prior, where we got all these new seasonal costumes for seasonal events that don't really get them. We got some for the Season of Love. Inside of this, though, we got Yorstridge as one. Yorstridge, oh my god, getting a costume for Yorstridge was a lit moment, guys. That costume made me so happy, getting to see a suit attire for Yorstridge. The Quibble one also stood out to me quite a lot. Just chocolate, why not? Everyone loves chocolate. Making it a keyboard, though, that is a cool idea that I probably would have never ever expected. Then on January 26th as well, all on the same day, we got Rare and Epic Smoochel on the seasonal shanty. This is just adorable, and I don't feel like there's much more to be said here. Then on January 26th, we got the Valentine's trailer, which teased Amber Island right at the very end. We got a showcase of all the costumes too. Not really the most fanciest trailer, but that ending absolutely was the sending off mark for the Season of Love, and just set off what was going to come inside of it. So it was quite an exciting time. This symbol too, at the time, we didn't know what this symbol was. We found out a little bit later inside of the year, inside of April. I've not actually put it on the timeline here, but that's quite an important fact, that we found out that the symbol actually represents what the Colossals have created, this symbol on screen right now. Before, we didn't even know it was associated to the Colossals. It was just this symbol that appeared everywhere. So it was quite fun to theorize at this point what it might mean, and just getting a look at the island prior was a really cool concept, and the way that they did this too was probably the best kind of teaser that they could have put out for the island. Before, they've gone off with the Colosseum, for example, and made it this week-long extravaganza event, but this was really cool the way that the teasers were formatted for Amber Island, and I think it worked out really well, because then on February 9th, we got Amber Island releasing with Wave 1, pretty much straight after the teaser itself. It gave us a nice time to theorize about what was going to come in the first place, and with Amber Island, I've got to say, when the monsters first released, this squad that we first got, this is the squad that makes up Amber Island. Looking back upon it now, this was the best kind of squad you could have come up with for Amber Island releases, and back then too, you got to point out here, they were planning to have 6 monsters releasing at once. I don't have a clue how that would have incorporated itself into the year now, looking back at everything that we've had, but it's a really weird thought that they weren't going to do 3 monsters in a wave before. I know we're getting 1 now, but most of the time getting 3, and then it was supposed to be 6. By that fact, we probably would have seen Amber Island end by anniversary month this year. Really crazy how the year went, and how development did change behind the game. Zegrab still is the main monster behind the Amber Island song, and remains to be so to this very day. I think these monsters just, again, you can't go wrong with them. They are Amber Island itself. Even though the song felt very empty at this point, these monsters truly make up the song. Then on February 9th, we also got the Amber Island trailer, with Jamboree's antics once more making a comeback inside of here, but perhaps the most symbolic moment, I do think, for me, is just getting to see Yelmo come back inside of the original game for the first time, actually seen for the first time these fire elementals actually making their way inside of the game that had been wanted for so long was such an epic moment. And I feel like the Amber Island trailer was a lot better in comparison to trailers that we had been getting. The trailers really have been upgraded since Spooktical last year. I know that was quite a large concern, so getting to see how much the trailers have improved this year has been a really fun moment for me, I do think. Not the most amazing trailer again compared to some of the ones that we got later inside of the year, but a really good one nevertheless. Then on February 9th, also we got Epic Boskus. A really oddball design, this one. The white and black contradicts itself in many ways, but it absolutely suits Light Island, this one. Perhaps not as much the other ones, but when I'm seeing Epic Boskus on Light Island, I'm having a doozy. Then on February 9th, yet again, as everything released on February 9th in February, we got the Haven and Oasis Pyrrhizite castles. These were so cool at the time, getting to see the crystals that we hadn't seen at all inside of Dawn of Fire get to be inside of the original game. These crystals that hadn't even been inside of Dawn of Fire were part of the development cycle, as we'd later see too with some of the castles we are going to be encountering. But the Pyrrhizite ones in particular still haven't made their way inside of Dawn of Fire, so it's so cool getting that behind the scenes perspective with the Fire Island castles. And seeing as though Epics are releasing on the Fire Islands, this was a most needed thing for the Fire Islands, so I'm grateful towards how that did happen. We also got a currency upgrade inside of this too, where the currency icons were upgraded for what you see when you're collecting from monsters. For me, it's quite a bad deal, this, however. Seeing as I'm colorblind, I can no longer see for the life of me what I'm collecting anymore, unfortunately. But I am completely aware of how I'm in the minority, so we'll move on from that one. Then on February 23rd, we got Prismatic Fangler. Yet again, an amazing Prismatic. This year has been a whopping year for Prismatics, guys. The ones that we've got have been the best ones to date, personally, I think. So it's been really exciting once again. Again, a design that really does not look like Fangler itself. You've got rid of the microphone from it, and you've actually gone ahead and gone and had the speakers at the very top of it. These different speakers that you found across the designs, once again, so unique and such a fresh take on a concept. Just something that we don't really see that much, and that's honestly what's carried this year's Prismatics, as the designs have all gone in their own stride away from the original designs, which I am loving. And the last thing in February is that My Singing Monsters Live made its return. My Singing Monsters Live has always been the hallmark for me towards developers getting the chance to talk about My Singing Monsters in general, and just seeing the monster handlers themselves. Getting to see the new monster handlers come on board My Singing Monsters Live has been a really fun experience, and getting to see Tyson, Jen, and Matt this year just really form a really good team for My Singing Monsters Live has been a thrilling experience, and getting to see everyone come together. I can't imagine a world without My Singing Monsters Live. So this returning meant so much to me, as this is the best way to ask questions about lore and just interact with the community. I don't think anything can get better than My Singing Monsters Live, so I am really grateful that it made its return. Then in March, we begin the month with Fiddle on March 2nd, arriving on the seasonal shanty. Fiddle added the most to the seasonal shanty song out of any monster, period. Fiddle, I think, is the backbone behind the seasonal shanty song, so getting them this early was really cool. But also linking back to finally getting a St. Patrick's Day seasonal monster that we've been theorizing about for years was really encapsulating to me, and I really like this seasonal event. This was the one that I was most anticipating myself up for. I think out of all of the ones that we were theorizing about, this was the one that I was really into. So Fiddle also coming out on top of all of the seasonals was a really good moment. We also got Fiddle's verse inside of this, which is the best part behind the seasonal shanty song. So Fiddle carries, man. Fiddle carries, you know what I mean? Then on March 2nd, we also got Rare Hollow. Another amazing variant design. They've been really throwing themselves out there this year with the variant designs. This one, based on a skull, is engraved from a special tree inside of the monster world. Also throwing back to that lore once more. Something that we did explore quite a lot inside of this year is the lore too, so that's been quite exciting. And then on March 16th, we got Epic Wuvox on Air Island. Epic Wuvox on Air Island has one of my favorite Epic Wuvox designs. To me, I don't really understand the hate behind Epic Wuvox on Air Island. To me, it has the coolest animations out of all of the Epic Wuvox, and I don't think it deserves all of the hate that it gets. It might only have one track, but I don't think that's to dismiss all of the stuff that it does do and how cool this monster is. So I'm not really sure why everyone always just seems to pick on Epic Wubbox on Air Island, but to me, it's a really cool monster, and at this point was where the game really began to kick off this year. I can remember there was lots of new fans coming in at this point, and it was getting really crazy for the game. Not as crazy as what it did later on in the year, as November and December, oh my goodness, TikTok made My Singing Monsters boom, baby. Then on March 16th, besides Epic Wubbox, we got Amber Island Wave 2 with Flamox. This introduced Flamox's verse, yet again, the best verse inside of the Amber Island song. So in the space of 2 months, we've had two of the best verses for the latest islands that had come out, just all come out at once, which was a really cool moment. At this moment, though, we only had Flamox playing inside of that verse, and it was really uncertain what the verse would sound like, so I wouldn't particularly say we were that mesmerized by it at that point. Also, we had Sousa in this too. Sousa has been described to be off-key quite a bit, and they often were comments like, oh, Sousa's off-key or whatever. I think those comments have kind of gone away now, and people realize how much of a cool integration Sousa has into the song. Personally, I really see the connection that Sousa has into it, and I do believe that Sousa's part adds a lot towards it. We also got Boskus inside of Flamox's verse, but Boskus doesn't really add a lot to it, so again, we were just kind of waiting at this point to see what that verse would sound like, but you could really see that it was more low-key, this verse, compared to the other ones. Then on March 23rd, the week after, we got Prismatic Rooty 2. This marked the final Prismatic for months and months, likely while they were working on other stuff, which we will get onto. But this one, yet again, absolutely amazing. It had a tail this time around, and you just can't see Rooty 2 inside of this design anymore. It's a new monster yet again, and we love it so much. This one's so much cuter as well than the rest of Prismatics. I don't know what's going on with this one, but this one was pretty cute to me. Not as creepy as the other ones, especially one what we'll be getting onto in a minute. Then on March 30th, we got Easter costumes. All brand new costumes yet again for the seasonal event. I think this was my favorite seasonal event package for costumes this time around that we've not seen before. We had the summer ones and then the seasonable ones, but the Easter ones for me really stood out. We'd not just got the Wordo this time, but we also got an Ethereal inside of this. That is really unheard of, getting a random Ethereal costume. We love that though, when monsters that you don't expect get costumes. That's always the best feeling in the world, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to see some more seasonal costumes in the future too, as these ones to me just really stood out. I absolutely adore Paul Sona's bunny costume. Just saying, adding Wordo's costumes always feels really good. Give me a Wubbox one, okay guys? That's what we need, don't we? Everyone needs that, right? And then we also got Rare and Epic Blabbit on Seasonal Shanty on March 30th. Yet again, another cute one. Not much to say here, though. Then on April 13th, moving on to April now, we got Amber Island Wave 3 with Krillbig. This wave was a really monumental wave towards the song. Stog in particular had so much behind the verses behind the song that are like the main versey parts. Stog helped edge them verses up, and I believe that Krillbig, just seeing their interaction with Flamox's verse, gave me a lot of hope at the time towards Flamox's verse. It really did come to show that Flamox's verse was something to be quite excited about around that time. Frumble added quite a bit inside of the Amber Island song, and they filled out the main verses a lot with Stog, so this was a good one for the main verses, I'd say. Then we also got on April 13th, Epic Geode. The Epic Emeralds don't come around often, but when they come around, they absolutely smack do an amazing job. No less with Epic Geode. The little crystals that are fragmented all around them was quite interesting, and the multiple eyes, definitely reminiscent of the Ethereal Island Colossal I found with Epic Geode. I love Epic Geode. This was an amazing time for the game. I love My Singing Monsters so much. Anyway, on April 13th, we got more weekly costumes, all on the same day, yet again. These costumes weren't just any costumes, though. These are my favourite costumes. They had animated components like Sponge's hat, and particularly with Dandy Doo, but absolutely the one that took it out of the park was Pango. This Spy costume, something costumes that don't really do that often is take on these different disguises, if you will, so getting a more disguise-like appearance, we loved that. On April 25th, we got the Composer app being updated. This was for the core seasonals, so we had Punkleton all the way to Hula from the Natural Islands, discluding Gobbly Gardens there, and Orcs seasonals. Over in the Composer app, that's not been updated for 2 years, so at this point, getting this update was an immense deal, and I love the amount of fan service they delivered with this. The composer community is quite a niche one, I do think, and therefore just fulfilling their desires, I think, with this huge trailer and these teasers that lasted the following weeks building up towards it was a cool moment, and getting to speculate about what this could be, as we did have a really good idea and we could tell what it was, but just getting the chance to theorize about it, I think, was a really big thing for the composer community, and I was just so happy at the time getting to see the composer seasonals make their way on over, and for this app that hadn't been updated in a long time to finally get the justice that it deserved. On April 27th, we got Vivine with the Echoes of Eco event. There was lots of speculation at this point for what the seasonal event behind Vivine could be. We was speculating that it could be Earth Day, but then it also ended up being a collaboration behind Tree Day, Earth Day, basically all the nature events combined, which I think worked really well. And for Vivine, you've got to say, when they do that actually, when you see all them critters, it is the most adorable thing. Whoever thought of having critters for a monster and having them be a part of it, it's so interesting to see, and I'm hopeful that we get to see some more critters around Vivine when they make their way next year. With Vivine, we got Rare Tutu on the same day. Rare Tutu is yet again another amazing rare magical design. Rather than Tutu's design though, this one, it's much more taking on the ballerina appearance. Tutu's a little bit more morbid, shall we say, but Rare Tutu really brought on the colour. It really conflicts with Light Island. Going back to what Tutu could have been in the first place if it took on that more ballerina style is a cool concept again. Over on April 28th, unfortunately, a bit of bad news. We got the Hex being deconfirmed for now. We've put in brackets down there. They've mentioned things before to be deconfirmed, like Epic Wobox saying it'll never happen, and then they've done it. And the Hex monster, for the life of me, I cannot understand why they wouldn't ever choose to do it. The Hex monster containing all the natural elements and the fire element, it's literally the only time you could do a Hex elemental, and therefore it seems a little weird to me that they wouldn't take the chance up in the hands and choose to do this amazing monster that we could get inside of the game. Dawn of Fire's continent has always been building up towards the Hex elemental, so leaving it out feels strange to me. And even though Wobox is described to be the quote-unquote Hex elemental representative, I don't think it should be left that way, and I think the continent has been building up to this ever since the release of it, and it just really deserves this. If any monster ever arrived in Dawn of Fire, the Hex elemental deserves to be released, as that thing is the finale kind of situation that you just want to add inside of Dawn of Fire. That monster is the pinnacle of it. Then moving on to May now, on May 11th, we got Amber Island Wave 4. Amber Island Wave 4 featured Edamame, Bob, and Flower. In particular, here we have the ending verses now be added towards the song. Edamame, not the hugest addition, but amazing to get to see another Dawn of Fire monster make their way on over. The final verses for Amber Island, really cool verses yet again, that really stand out to me inside of the Amber Island song, and it was cool to see these parts. Even though we didn't really know the direction that we were going, we could see that we were going to get some really cool stuff. With Bob, a really weird voice change. Not sure about that, but we did like the direction that the verse was going in at the end. Then on May 25th, we got Spirit on Seasonal Shanty. By far my least favourite seasonal monster. This is one of my least favourite monsters in the game. Well, that's the sound. I don't know what it is. It just looks so weird to me. And even though Monster Handler Matt has said it's not me, I can't unsee it. And it just looks like a mini Monster Handler Matt to me inside of the game. I know it isn't supposed to be, but it forever will be inside of my head. And you know what? When I learned that Matt didn't voice this thing, I was shocked. I think it's got a cute animation, I'll give it that much, but it's not for me. And it just looks really weird. It does not suit the My Singing Monsters style to me. Moving on to Epic Rootitude, the savior of us all, and actually the final epic fire elemental we would see for a really long time, as other content then took Steed instead. Epic Rootitude has some really cool robotic arms. I think comparing this to the prismatic designs, it's really weird to look at though now, because I didn't realize it at the time, but the prismatic designs really went out of the way this year. So looking at it now, I think it didn't take as much stride as the prismatic variant, but another amazing one. Not as cool as the other ones that we got though throughout start of the year, I'd say. On May 26th, following from Spirits, seemingly after this disappointment that we'd had, I don't know whether it was tied in, but this teaser saved us all. This was for the Live Formula event, the best seasonal event, period, that we are most excited for, I would say, in the community. The island that it's going to be for, if you guys have any idea what that could be, is a very exciting one, and just what this represents overall, and the symbolism behind the lore, it's the best kind of custom event I could have ever imagined, and the monster behind it, moving on to our next month, when the month of the mythical started, where the community got to elaborate inside of polls what Strombonin would eventually become. We then, on June 1st, also got Monculus. Monculus is my favourite seasonal shanty monster. The lore that they deliver with Crystallium and just confirming that the Ethereals were experiments is so exciting to me. Its animation, best one on the seasonal shanty. This design too, oh, it's perfect. I love it. Monculus, you're perfect. Do everything to Ethereal Island. I love you. I don't even care anymore. It's going to Ethereal, guys. It's going to be amazing. This is just going to be an amazing moment when we get to discover this. Okay. Then on June 8th, we got Amber Island Wave 5, featuring a brand new fire elemental, Pong Ping. Pong Ping added a new verse onto Amber Island. Yeah, again, another blank verse, but Repetillo, my boy, oh my boy. Repetillo added a bunch to Flower and Bob's verses and made them an absolute bop. And Waddle, Own Island is one of my favourite islands, so when that melody kicked in into the main verses, I was vibing. We also got on June 8th, on the same day, Pong Ping inside of Dawn of Fire. Pong Ping, I think, just comes to show how much the Dawn of Fire continent monsters all each add to the song again. Just that monster cast being so large and each one still adding a bunch, it just really gets to me. I think I'm really waiting for that Bicinerus verse monster at this point, as that's quite empty still, and that's been empty for years now, so I'm hopeful that we can get something towards that. But the dual release here really was an amazing time for the game. The Fire Elementals really do deserve to be released in Dawn of Fire at the same time, so getting this dual release was an amazing moment, and it had been building up towards this too, with the Prismatics not releasing as of late. This build-up that we've been getting, and it absolutely delivering, was amazing. Perhaps the weirdest looking Fire Elemental, but an amazing one, and one that I couldn't see the game without, with it being our final Fire Elemental quad, actually. On June 15th, we got Rare Flute Fly. Instead of releasing them along with monsters inside of this month, they went and did the month of the mythical. Really nice release schedule for this month. I was anticipating that they might go down the route of mimicking its original concept art a little bit more and going into the whole idea that it was supposed to be based on Quarrister, and especially its I'm Green bio, but they didn't do that, so maybe they're saving that for the epic variant. There was lots of speculation behind me with this one, which didn't turn out to be true, but I'm happy with the theatre direction that they went with this. Big theatre guy me, so I was happy with this one. Then on June 22nd, we got Whiz Bang on the seasonal shanty, representing Pride and 4th of July. A collaboration between two seasonal events again. I think this was the best way that they could have gone about these seasonal events, the combination between all of them, as I don't think leaving out any would have been an idyllic situation. With Whiz Bang, I was thrilled to see it be such a cute monster. I think this is a really cute one, and I love the fireworks that it makes. On June 29th, following on the week after again, we got the magical crystalline castles. The magical islands, I think I would have anticipated these castles to come later, but I'm thrilled that they added these earlier. Why not just get them in? I think the magical islands aren't going to be needing these for a long time. I mean, it's probably going to be when we get the epic elementals, right, at this point, for the magicals that will probably be needing them around then, but still, I am thrilled that they added these guys. Getting to see crystals again that we'd not seen inside of Dawn of Fire, making their way over to the original game and finally be confirmed, was a big moment, as we didn't just get that on June 29th, but we got the Outer Island crystals be added to Dawn of Fire at the same time. Along with this release, we also got Confettite announced. Confettite was the Party Island crystal that hadn't been previously drawn up. That was something that was made originally for this. So expanding on those concepts and also elaborating on ones that hadn't made its way inside of development, and also adding an easier way to get prismatics was a cool moment. And the prismatics, I think, have been really hard for a long time, so having a way to get them a little bit more easily is a lovely feature, as there's not really a way around it besides diamonds. So I think adding this for players was a really good idea and really good of the company overall, and an impressive idea in itself, as I don't feel like the need was there. rare, but I feel like wanted to incorporate these crystals just for the fan service at this point. Getting dual releases this month for Dawn of Fire was really great, though. It was definitely my favorite moment of the month, getting them dual releases. Then on July 6th, we got Amber Island Wave 6. No new monster this time around, though, as they decided to focus on expanding the song further and left out the new monsters actually for the month after, so that Summer Song could be a little bit more special. I feel like this was a good move on their part, as these monsters did add the most, I'd say, out of any Amber Island Wave we've ever got. Even though I'd say that monsters on Amber Island, always they can be adding more, and it feels like they don't add enough the ones that are supposed to add the most potentially. I'd say that these definitely came along and added the most. Pong Ping's verse, finally filling that in with Wallaby, was really nice. Lots of glitches on Amber Island at this point, though. Lots of glitches that did end up being fixed later on in Anniversary. I think there were so many monsters on Amber Island, it was quite easy to get it bugged, to be honest, though. Snizer adding its contribution to the main section. I love that sound. That makes me love the Amber Island song a lot more. So Snizer, thank you for making me like the song a lot more. Rooty 2 filling out Flumox's verse. Hello, I love that too. Then on July 20th, we got the Summer Song 2022 trailer. Building up to this point, we'd had quite a few theories going around on my channel that Epic Wubbox would be arriving on Water Island soon. Little did we know, though, what would be coming. I'll say that much. This Summer Song trailer was a really good one. I think it was hard to beat last year's, though, as last year's was so amazing, and it's probably the best animated trailer to date. Not my favorite one, but definitely the most effort you can see that went into that one. So getting this one, I feel like it had a lot to live up towards. There was lots of teasers inside of this, though, and I feel like they did a really good job encapsulating what was going to come inside of the Summer Song event. Having this trailer drop before and these teasers, it was really fun to theorize about. I wish that they did this a little bit more. As official trailers, getting the animation and then having the theory side of it isn't something that we do often, and I feel like it gives us a lot more to theorize about. Especially the bookworm element appearing behind Hula at one point. That was a really hard thing to point out, I'd say, and people pointing out that it was just a fun moment overall. An epic Wubbox arising out of the ocean that almost killed me. Then on July 20th, we got the Crucible and Rare doubles. Surprisingly not really mentioned inside of the Summer Song trailer. I'd say the Crucible, I would have expected this to arrive much later than what it did, but I'm honestly really grateful that it came around here, as it was quite hard to get all of the rares. I'll say that much, as we've been leading up towards this, but I certainly wasn't prepared for it, so getting some nice time to get these was nice. I think the Crucible, it's a really nice mechanic, and I'm really impressed with the way that they've managed to integrate this. I think for the egg islands, where you're putting eggs into monsters, it could have been easily messed up the way that rares and epics were integrated here. I'm still really curious towards how epics are going to go about it. If you're going to need the rare and then you're going to have to turn it into an epic, is that going to be really hard? I'm curious and also speculative about that, as that seems like it would be really hard. So we'll have to wait to see on that one. We also got some nice rare doubles here, though. With this, though, on July 20th, we got as a meme boy, Epic Grumpire. It's grumping time. Will go down in the history books. It being based on Morbius, I feel like, was the community's favorite variant this year. Moving on to August. On August 3rd, we got Epic Wubboxers coming together. The best moment inside of the year, honestly, for me. This was my favorite day. Out of any day in the year, this was the day where I was feeling the happiest, to be honest. Getting two Epic Wubboxers on one day was so unexpected, and I'll never forget that moment where I went back in game and I saw Earth Island Epic Wubbox was also available at the same time. What? Guys, I've just gone back in game and it's on Earth Island as well? Oh my god, what? What? You see, what people don't understand with Rare Wubbox is, Rare Wubbox wasn't supposed to release on Water Island and Earth Island at the same time. That's actually a bug, and when Rare Wubbox was actually first put in the game, they didn't animate, they didn't make any sounds, it was just the idle animation. That would be bugged, and when you place them down, it wasn't supposed to actually come. There was a rare sale and they put all the monsters out, and then they must have forgot because Rare Wubbox randomly came out and there was no news notification or anything. So these two releasing, this was on purpose, and And I think, therefore, just having them here, it was really cool. The Epic Boxes, oh, I love them so much. And getting them both, oh, I love them. The sounds, Earth Island sound, I could not get over it. War Island, absolutely a bop. Feeling groovy with his lyrics that I came up with, that I'd been thinking about for a long time up to this point. But Earth Island, oh, amazing. The designs for these things, really cool too. I love these so much, guys. On August 3rd, we also got Amber Island Wave 7. Oh my goodness. 2 new monsters from Dawn of Fire on the same day too. They were killing us, guys. This included our first Quint Elemental inside of the game. No Quints have ever released inside of the original game before, and Candelabra are coming along. It's just amazing this day. And Tiawa is literally the fire elemental I've been waiting for on Amber Island all along. I just really can't say how amazing this day was enough. And Wink, again, adding to Barcinerous's verse. Oh, I'd love this day, man. Even though Candelabra could have been way cooler. I'm looking at you, Candelabra. You could have been way cooler. I don't know what's up with your idle animation still. I hope that is fixed at some point. Then on August 17th, we also got Bookworm on the Seasonal Shanty, concluding my favorite month of the year. This was the month for me. Just concluding that with the percussion monster we have been wanting on Seasonal Shanty. I just really can't express enough how much this month delivered. I mean, if you zoom out of this month, there's 3 things here. 3 things, but these things really counted, man. Out of any month, these were the things that I was just most hyped about. I really love Bookworm being a librarian, and I like the Moor bonnet at the back of them too. I love Bookworm. Moving on to anniversary month now, in September. On September 1st, we got Strongboning on Cold Island. You see, they're just delivering at this point. Absolutely delivering. The second half of the year, what an amazing time to be a My Singing Monsters fan, guys. Strongboning, right, this monster, I cannot express how much this monster did to a song out of any monster in the game's history. Strongboning added the most to a song after it was finished out of any monster. Strongboning, my absolute legend here, made the Cold Island song not unhearable to me anymore. For me, for years, I've always discluded Cold Island out of my playlist. It's been one of my least favorite islands. I would have literally put it in F tier, but this, it made it so I love the Cold Island song all of a sudden, and I could listen to it, and I've been listening to it in my playlist now for ages. I don't understand how it made the song so amazing, but Strongboning somehow wrapped the Cold Island song up in a really cool way. It makes me very excited for the rest of the Mythicals, as the Mythicals, I don't think, get enough recognition towards how much they do. I think they do with Mythical Island, certainly, that we're going to get onto, but my boy here, filling in this Cold Island song, epic guy here. September 1st, we also got the creator decor and costumes. These were costumes and decorations that had been made by the Kickstarter people who backed the My Singing Monsters board game Kickstarter, and adding things from the community itself was a big moment behind the game, and something that I hope they do in future updates. As listening to the community and their ideas is a really cool way to add things inside of the game, and also just the amount of creativity that was explored inside of all of these assets was a cool moment, as I feel like this creative juice that the community delivered something else to what we usually do get. I love what we do get, but it felt like there was so much new lore ideas inside of this just from the community itself, and it's something that we've never seen really. And the costumes being so wacky, and probably the best costumes to date that we've ever seen. The lore here, whether it's from Thumb and exploring how they might be part of these different dimensions, exploring a completely new one with the Cave Crystal teleporter, and my favorite decoration being the Optiglobe. Finally getting one for Psychic was really nice. Love the lore inside of it. We also got on September 1st, new Amber Island rare triples arriving each week. These arrived in duets throughout the month in their following order for the retrospective islands on the map menu. Then on September 4th, we had the 10th anniversary for My Singing Monsters. 10th anniversary, guys. We're going to be approaching the 10th anniversary of my channel soon, and me playing the game. I don't even know what I'm going to do for that. We'll have to do something, but 10 years for My Singing Monsters. My Singing Monsters has only got better over the years, and thinking about what they're going to do for the future is exciting. 10 years to me, it was so weird to think about at that point, because I was like, I've played My Singing Monsters for the majority of the game's release, and getting to see the amount of expression inside of the community for this and see the monster handlers commemorate the event was a big moment for the game. And it just comes to show that My Singing Monsters, I think, is a franchise that is here to stay. It's lasted this long and it's only getting better. My goodness, I am really excited for the future of My Singing Monsters, guys. It's gonna be good. On September 8th, we got Prismatic Quibble. Epic Quibble's bio has always been a little off-putting, as it doesn't reveal too much about the Epic, as apparently not much is known about it, but all is revealed here, as the red prismatic variant was revealed to be none other than Epic Quibble's Dawn of Fire counterpart. Rather than Epic Quibble being an epic that has evolved from the normal form, it is in fact something that's likely come from the Prism Gate, and that's why therefore the bio person didn't know a thing behind it, because actually this monster had come from the Prism Gate and just randomly appeared. Finally learning something about a description that hadn't been really embarked upon for years was a nice tie-in and very strange and peculiar. I think when I was first discovering Prismatic Quibble, it definitely didn't hit me that the Epic Quibble had been the prismatic one all along. It took me a little bit to work that out, but cool lore for this one. Then on September 14th, we got Rare Jamboree. Lots of speculation again behind whether this would be a thing, and lovely that it turned out to be true, and instead is getting Roman numerals that are going to be updated throughout the years to come, like with Jamboree when their candle was updated for anniversary. Then on September 22nd, we got the most ugliest prismatic I have seen in my life, and I feel like everyone's going to come for me. We've got My Little Monsters here. My Little Pony has been embarked here for these prismatic tiara designs. I don't know why, but they just look so creepy to me. Love the direction and seeing tiara go in a new direction, but I feel like this was too much of a direction. I'm not sure whether I would have gone with these designs personally. I feel like we could have done something else here. I feel like it's supposed to be cute, but it just looks creepy. So we'll move on because these are creepy. Then on September 28th, we got the true anniversary trailer. My word, the Colossals finally awakening. This was a day to go down in the history books, guys. We didn't get a new island just inside of this, just like the year prior where we got Seasonal Shanty and other stuff. Inside of this, we got Mythical Island, the best island throughout the year, and just song-wise, the best thing we have got in forever since Magical Sanctum, and also having the Colossals awaken all on the same day. They might not have been awakening that day, but my word, that is something we have been wanting for years, and that is the best time that they could have done that ever. The 10th anniversary of the game, putting the Colossals in, something the community has wanted for years, and is the biggest thing I have ever wanted for the game, is an amazing feat. I mean, moving on September 28th, we got Mythical Island with Catalyst and Sporo. Mythical Island, I have such big hopes behind this song. The song is compiling together right now to be one of my favorites. It's S tier already. We don't even need any more monsters. That's what's the marvelous thing about Mythical Island. Yet every single monster that they've added in, it's done so much for the song still. I mean, it's S tier already, and we've got Shrubble adding, and it's an absolutely amazing sound that they make. And that verse at the very end now with Yorstridge and Bleakneck, oh my word, when Shrubble kicks in, my word, them vibes go on. I shouldn't be talking about Shrubble yet, but my word, Mythical Island gets me, man. Mythical Island gets to me because, yo, is that island good. The future of that thing is going to be something that you got to watch out for. On September 28th, we also got the announcement that anniversary year is going to begin. I was originally very speculative towards this. I was like, I'm going to pretend that anniversary year does not exist, because Year of the Monster was the most painful thing I have witnessed. I mean, it started out off with a banger with Magical Sanctum, but then it kind of went really downhill from there. We got towards the end of the year last year, and it was just nothing because they were focusing on Playground. It was literally like Clavavia and costumes. That's what it felt like. I'm sure you can go back to the year in review and there's other stuff there, but that's what it felt like to me. So I was very speculative, but my word, they have delivered on this promise. They are delivering, and I am very excited behind anniversary year now. I am not taking it as just words now. I am taking it as being a thing, and that's really good because that means it's going to be good then this year if I'm taking it as a thing after Year of the Monster, because I was very hesitant. Then on September 29th, straight away, straight after this thing, we got Bleakneck and Crunchy be teased. Did this roller coaster end? No. They decided, no, we're not having it end here. We're actually going to accelerate and go up this massive hill still. I don't know, man. I don't know. This day, Bleakneck, one of my favourite monsters too, 2, Bleatnik. When I saw this thing, I was in love automatically. It's part of the Gabroods again, Gajoob's family. Absolutely love that family. One of my favorite families besides the Peckyderms, with Pechidna and Willoughby, obviously. It's definitely my first favorite alongside those. I can't decide between those two. These two, oh, I absolutely love the way that they revealed them too. It felt so special to conclude anniversary month. I absolutely love these guys. Moving on to October 5th, we got Bleatnik, my guy. Oh, I love Bleatnik. One of my favorites yet again. It takes a lot, I think, to be a part of my favorite squad. I currently have Pechidna, Tapricorn, G'day, and Bleatnik, and Willoughby last but not least. Those are my favorite monsters inside of the game, so it's quite a big deal when a new monster adds onto that list. Bleatnik adds a ton towards the Mythical Island song, I feel, inside of Boros, Soloverse. Getting a little bit of expansion there was definitely a lot needed. And then towards the end of the song, them also pairing up with Your Strange, it made my heart drop. It's so cute. I love it to bits. Bleatnik, I love you. October 12th, we got Spooktical beginning here with Rare Gajoob. A very unexpected rare surprise here. Lots of things going on inside of the game. They were really waiting towards the end of anniversary month to just kickstart anniversary year, weren't they, all along? It did feel a little slow in anniversary month for some reason. I will give them that, even though there were all that content. It was definitely rolling out at this point, though. Rare Gajoob, I really like the way that they threw back towards the original concept art. That's been a hallmark behind anniversary year so far, exploring these concepts, whether it's from Catalyst with the Gloptic concept art, or all the way to Rare Gajoob. They've done a really good job at exploring these different concepts. They've added another rare variant towards the checklist that we have now, which is probably like 200 plus rares that we have left to encounter. Of all of these different ones that we've got Epic Emeralds, we've got Epic Fires, we've got Rare Fires, we've got Rare Mythicals. They've got so many stuff, Rare Magicals. There's so many rares and epics left to discover. I love it, man. You can't speculate about this thing anymore. There's so much opportunities there. You can and you can't. It's an amazing thing. Then on October 12th, along with Rare Gajoob, we got Crunchy, my legend here, my Squidward boy. Crunchy, I love their personality. When monsters deliver on that personality, you love it. Whether it's from Denchus or Crunchy, these personality drops, they get to me, and I love them for it. Crunchy delivered inside of Sporos Solo again. Absolutely marvelous addition. And it was amazing to get to discover Rare Gajoob with Crunchy on the same day. Two hallmarks behind the series here. On October 12th, another thing, we got Amber Island Wave 8 with Tring. Or rather, Chunk, if you go and watch my Discovery video. Tring, I couldn't have asked any more out of this guy. I was shocked and bamboozled to discover Tring actually contributes towards the Amber Island song. I was expecting just a ding and that was it between verses, honestly. That was the best situation that I could think of, but them having a whole build-up sound towards the beat pop and then also having sounds before, that was a marvelous thing. Just so you know, the beat pop is the verse, with Flamoxed, as we nicknamed it inside of his Discovery video too. Then on October 26th, we got the beat Hereafter. What's in the world are the monster handlers doing? I want to know, because this year is already going off with a bang at this point. This is where my eyes were starting to raise here. I was like, oh, maybe this anniversary thing actually does mean something. Here we got Bone Island completely having this amazing makeover. They went ahead and did the research behind the Day of the Dead event, made sure that there was all these kinds of references towards the Day of the Dead material that they had, and they did an amazing job with it. It's an amazing read just getting to discover. I really advise you guys to go and watch my Beat Hereafter references video to discover what exactly I mean, but there was so much consideration gone into every single part behind this island, and it felt like Bone Island took on a whole new take with this. I mean, Feastember, it really did take my expectations into a low place. I think the Feastember one didn't change Firehaven all too much, but this one went and changed it a lot. We had a new sky, we had these different ornaments surrounding the island, and it just felt completely different. And to encapsulate it all on top, we had Clavavira in a new costume, revealed inside of the trailer we will be getting onto. And then on October 26th, we also got this day, Bone Island Dipsters, something I wouldn't have expected ever for my singing monsters. These things I do not like, but I will give them the matter of the fact that I actually do love the Bone Island Dipsters. I don't know why I don't like them on any island, but the Bone Island ones, they are a bop, and I were bopping inside of my Discovery video, and every time they come on now on my playlist when I'm listening to it, I have a groove on. I really couldn't ask for any more out of these guys. On October 26th, we also got Rare Wither again on the same day here. Not sure how the managing all these releases here, but we can see what they were working towards all this year now. I can see quite clearly Rare with perhaps an unexpected one to arrive inside of the Beat Hereafter event, I think. I would have expected either Rare Clover or Rare Clackula, but I love Rare with the Nevertheless, and it fits the Beat Hereafter vibe, especially the Bone Island Sky at that point. We also got the Beat Hereafter trailer on October 26th. This trailer, my favorite trailer of the year, I'd say. It just felt well compiled to me, this trailer, in comparison to the rest of ones that we got, and even though I didn't watch this one actually until after discovering it, I found this trailer to be just amazing the way that it was put together. I really enjoyed the idea of Clover getting dressed up and getting to see that take on them, and it's going to be something quite different, I do think, in comparison to the rest of the ARC seasonal events that we are going to be discovering. Going on to November now, we have the Bicinurus and Intersaw tease over on Mousy Monsters Live. We went from Crunchy and Bleaknik being teased to a teaser for Bicinurus and Intersaw. A nice way to go about it, this, I'd say. It took away from the surprise a bit, but they actually evened it out a bit by making it so that the rares, we could speculate about that, and it was really cool to see these designs. These are my favorite redesigns that they've done for Amber Island so far, so I'm excited to see what they might do for Dromedary now. On November 9th, we got, following on from that, not too long after, Bicinurus and Rare Snizer on Amber Island. Bicinurus, I'd say, doesn't really add a lot to Amber Island's song. It went in the part that I would have expected it to play, but there was lots of speculation at the time whether it would play there because Wink played there and it was quite a similar sound, but instead it just decided, you know what, we're going to play before Wink once. Definitely could have had a lot more Bicinurus, but it was nice to see them arrive, and again, the coolest redesign I have seen, along with Intersaw, one of the coolest redesigns that we've got for Amber Island yet. On November 16th, we got 4 new Feast Ember costumes, joining the ones that we'd already got from the original Feast Ember trailer. So this time around, we got Flugel, Barb, Tring, and Boskus getting ones, with Tring probably being the standout one here. I mean, changing the crystals, guys. Come on, don't get much better than that. November 16th, following on, we got Prismatic Tring. It felt like Tring was getting all the attention at this point. We'd had Tring on Amber Island, then we got Prismatic Tring, and then we had a costume for Tring. Lots of Tring content here. Lots of love for Tring. A lovely one here. Instead of it being a hand, it's rather gone ahead and made it more tech-based. Very alike towards the Prismatic stock variants that we see inside of Dawn of Fire. Then on November 23rd, we got the Feast Ember trailer. Lovely trailer here. Second favourite trailer, absolutely, this one for the year. Amazing trailers that we got towards the end of the year. Gotta say, Shrubble getting revealed was the cutest thing ever, and it making Gobblegod fall was also the funniest thing ever. A really well compiled trailer overall, and also getting the surprise inside of this that Wubbox would be on Firehaven. We'd got the teaser before, but this making its way on over there was a real big moment again. Wubbox has not been added to an island in years, finally making its way to maybe its last island, if it is added to Fire Oasis, which remains to be seen. But just overall, I think this added a lot towards the future behind My Singing Monsters 2. Lots of speculation now behind what Wubbox could be like in the future on Firehaven with the future variants. Absolutely amazing sound for Firehaven. Not alike to the other Wubboxes, I feel like, where it's potentially making its own song as much, but rather a more laid-back take and more integrated take into the song, which was nice. Then on November 23rd, we got Epic Glow, my favourite variant I have ever seen inside of My Singing Monsters. Rather the Glorvid, we should say, as they began to give variants names from this point onward, which I was really happy about, as I love getting my lore, and I love getting to call variants different things, as why not? This thing looked completely different to its original counterpart to me. Taking its stride with the concept art was absolutely phenomenal. I think that this monster doesn't even look like Growl anymore, and I think it's going to be very hard for a monster to come on top of Epic Growl in terms of my favourite variants. On the same day, on November 23rd, along with Wubbox and Epic Growl, I know, guys, they're really outdoing themselves with Anniversary Month, aren't they? We got Shrubble and Schlep. My word, Shrubble, I love you on Mythical Island. You make me love the song so much more, and I don't feel like I said that enough in my Discovery video, but here we are. It's amazing. I love Trouble. And Schlep, in a very peculiar design, but we love you too, Schlep. Lots of people, I think, were very mesmerised by Schlep's rather unusual design, I'd say, when it came along. Very unusual for My Singing Monsters, but I love that they took Schlep in a different direction, as we don't really get designs differing quite as much as, like, what this one did. unless it's like the wobblings. So I really like the direction that we saw with Schlepp, especially its contradiction to Shrubble. That was absolutely hilarious. Straight away on December 1st, beginning the month, we got Dawn of Fire confirmed to be not getting any Quints along with Amber Island. This took me by surprise. Ever since Amber Island's release, I've been saying they wouldn't do Dawn of Fire a disservice. They're likely to add all of the fire elementals as they come on Amber Island at the same time, like we saw with Pompeii, but no, here they are confirming that it's otherwise. And I'm really happy that they did this, because this would have led to a lot of disappointment for me if they didn't reveal this. But also, it's very sad. I feel like this has stepped the foot in the ground for Dawn of Fire. We've not been getting prismatics quite as frequently, and now this as well. It really doesn't frame it that well towards Dawn of Fire, but overall, them focusing on the main game where everything's happening, I'm not complaining. So I don't really mind, to be honest. Keep giving us all the content, baby, and I don't care. But overall, it's really sad. I mean, Dawn of Fire, I love Dawn of Fire too, and it's also really sad to see the game go in this direction. I mean, when Amber Island came, that was the offset from it. That was why everyone was, oh, like, okay, this is okay that we're getting all the Dawn of Fire content, because this actually means that we'll be getting more Dawn of Fire updates too. But now it's actually worked out otherwise, where My Singing Monsters is just getting everything, and Dawn of Fire is not getting anything, which is sad. I mean, this is Dawn of Fire. It doesn't make sense to disconclude it from these fire elemental releases. It's the perfect time for them to have done it, and it is unfortunate, but unfortunately it's just one of those things, and the original game will forever be in my heart the most, so I'm not going to complain about it, but it is sad in it to see this. On December 7th, along with Intersaw, we got Rare Yelmuts. Two absolute whoppers here again. I mean, Intersaw comes along, helps smoothing out these verses again. I think Intersaw did the absolute best they could to smoothen out the verses as much as it could. I think Intersaw again was the last monster that could smoothen out the verses, as the Quints and the potential Hex were not leaving at you, even though you're deconfirmed. Probably will need to build upon the song a lot more from what we have right now, as it honestly hasn't really evolved all too much in the space of the time that we've had. Sure, the song is a lot more filled now, but it still feels just as bare, and that's really weird to me. If you go and watch my Island tier list, you can find out more about what I think about Amber Island, but I will say it just feels really bare. I'm really happy that Intersaw came along and did as much as what it could to help out the song, and also fleshed out the ending bits, particularly with Flower and Bob, but really weird to see Amber Island's song evolve over the year. Rare Yelmuts, very peculiar one. We've got this conspiracy vibe going on. Now, it was revealed inside of Rare Yelmut's bio that potentially the Colossals have been awake all this time, as lots of people have been speculating that this is just because it's a conspiracy theorist, and I am very hopeful towards this fact, but it remains to be seen what the Colossals are awake from now, as there's no detailing anywhere, so hopefully we do get some elaboration on that soon, as on December 14th we also got the Colossal Conundrum beginning. My word. I was very disappointed by this thing though, I will give it that much. The day before they hyped it up as though the Colossals were going to be coming, and then it turns out you have to wait another 32 days, which I absolutely do not care for, as I love the Colossals and I will wait anytime. But overall, if they could have done something like with the Fire Elementals where they gave us a bit of warning, I would have much appreciated that, rather than hyping us up so much the day before, and understanding that we'd been waiting all the time, all these years for it, would have been really cool. But sometimes things don't go the MPG way. And overall, the Colossals are coming, so I am very excited to discover them still. And overall, it's very nice to get something from logging in a little bit more, as that's always felt like something that they could expand on more. So expanding on that potentially with the Colossals is a really good way to get them, especially seeing as though if we are to get them on islands like Tribal, that will be a really good way to do it without messing with different mechanics, as it would have been really hard to implement it on those islands. December 14th, we also got Rare Strombone in, saving the day with Horror Guy. So rather than the instrument being called Strombone, it's called Horror Guy, this one. Apparently this is supposed to go back to ancient Japan, as apparently jade was very important there, according to BitBlitz here, and also it's named after the Horror Guy, which is a conch shell used in Japan that looks like a trombone. So really happy with the references made for this one. I originally took it to be a Grinch-like one. It's definitely getting that kind of vibe on Cold Island, especially with the festive season being around at this point. Again though, really weird to see these mythicals be releasing, and then also the rare counterparts. Really excited for Rare Ostrich though. I'm not complaining, guys. Mythicals are the best class releasing right now, just saying. More mythical content is not something to be complaining about. Then on December 14th, we got Christmas skins announced, and then 4 new costumes again. Something that I'm hoping that we see continued potentially with these 4 new costumes being added for the seasonal events each time. Now, with these Christmas costumes, we got a new one though, rather than just returning ones that had been in prior years before the costume update actually arrived, where monsters would just get dressed up without the costumes feature just automatically. With this one, we got Strombodin's costume, the 2 epic ones, and then Grumpire. Getting to see an Ethereal one again, really nice. I hope that we see some more Ethereal ones in the future. We also got the Christmas skin being announced, where you can purchase it anytime and you get boosts. Absolutely love this feature. Give me more boosts on my island and I ain't complaining. Also, you get them for free, the boosts, actually, while the seasonal event is happening. So actually, it makes it a lot better than what it was before, as you're getting access to the boots and not just the island skin overall. So nothing to be complaining about here, guys. Lovely feature, and I'm really happy that we can have these seasonal skins anytime now. We're not having them locked behind a wall like the costumes were. Is cool. And that ends our 2022 year in review. The best year for My Singing Monsters today. There's been that much content here. There's been so much to digest, but let me tell you, 2023 I think is going to be even bigger as we have anniversary year on the way. So I ain't gonna say this is the biggest year, as I know next year is going to be even better, and probably the year after that and the year after that, because that's just the My Singing Monsters cycle. Make sure to let me know your opinions about this year down below. For now though, guys, make sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed and subscribe too. I will see you guys later for now. Bye, guys.